So here I am on the short row section of the right cheek of the bunny. So if I just show you the piece in its entirety, you can see the left cheek over here that we've worked on. I'm now working the right cheek, and I just wanted to show you part of this because we are wrapping and turning on the purl side now. So I've just completed short row 4. And I'm now on short row 5, where I'm going to purl 7 and then wrap and turn the stitch. So let's just do that. Okay, so it's 5, 6 and 7, and you will see I've wrapped these 2 stitches, this one and this one already. So I'm going to wrap this one, which is the last one before those wrapped stitches. So because I'm purling, my yarn is in front of the work, so I'm going to take it through the needles and to the back, and I'm going to slip that stitch that I want to wrap from the left onto the right, and then I'm going to bring the yarn back through the needles to the front, and then I'm going to pop that stitch back on to the left needle. So it's now wrapped. You can't really see, well, you can kind of see that yarn going all the way around, almost like a little scarf or a collar. And the turning part is just simply turning the work to the knit side. So I'm now ready to, oh, where's my yarn? I'm now ready to knit again. I'm now ready to knit short row 6, and we're going to knit 7. Okay, so that's what it looks like from the right side of the work. It's not easy to see the wrapped stitches on the purl side. So again, if you wanted to put a little stitch marker in so you know where they begin, sorry, up this side, that's absolutely fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish the last couple of wrapped purl stitches. I'll do one more to show you. So we're now doing, we're going to purl 6 and wrap and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and it's brought us over to the last sort of normal stitch before those little wrapped stitches. So let's do it one more time. So yarn to the back, pick up the stitch from the left needle to the right, yarn to the front, and pick up and put that stitch back on the left needle. Now don't forget, we have got that dedicated video to this technique, so if that was a bit too quick, you can go and watch that. Okay, so the turning part is literally just turning the work. Right, so I'll finish off this, and then I just want to show you when we get to row 9 of the right cheek, I want to show you how we're going to pick up the wraps when we purl all the way across. So I'll get to the end of these short rows and I'll meet you at the beginning of row 9, which is the purl row. Right, I'm on row 9 of Bunny's right cheek, and it's a purl row, and I've just purled 5 stitches in the normal way because they're just straight stitches, but I've now come to my first wrapped stitch. You can kind of just see the wrap going all the way around there. As I've said before, do put a stitch marker in if you're not sure where those wrapped stitches are, because they can be quite tricky to spot. So we went through how to pick up the wraps on the knit side, and we have got that dedicated video if you need that, but let's just remind ourselves how to do that on the purl side. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to pick up like we did before, which is, you know, the pick up the wrap that's facing you, that's closest to you. We're actually going to pick up the wrap. When we're on the purl side, we're going to pick up the part of the wrap that's furthest away from us. So if you were to look at it from the other side, it would be the wrap that's on the right side of the work, because that's the side we want to keep neat. So I've put my needle tip under that part of the wrap, and again, I'm not twisting or anything, I'm just lifting it up and onto the left needle. So now I've got 2 strands of yarn sat up there, and this is an easier part. We're just going to put our needle in and purl those 2 together. So nothing special about that at all. So I've just purled that. And that means the wrap, can you see that little loop there? That's the wrap, and that's popped through back onto the back side, which will keep the right side nice and neat. Okay, so I've got another one to do here. Let's just do that one more time so you can see. Knocked that with my chin. So there is the wrap going round there. It's a little bit tight, this one, but I can just see it there. And I've picked it up without twisting and put it onto my needle. So I've now got 2 yarns, and I'm going to put my needle through the 2 and purl together, and you can see that wrap has popped back through to the back. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to pick up my wraps like that all the way along and finish that purl row. Okay, so you can see all the wraps picked up, and you can kind of see them sitting along there nice and neatly. And I'll just finish this purl row in the normal way. So when we look at it from the front, there are no holes or anything. That's nice and neat. You can't really see, well, you can't see any kind of sign of those wrapped stitches at all. I just wanted to show you very briefly a difference for which you will encounter when you're creating the right eye socket, because you will be purling front and back rather than knitting front and back. So I'm quickly going to show you that. So we start in the same way, in that we're just working a few stitches of our row to create the eye socket. We're starting by knitting 5 stitches, and then we're going to turn and start working back again. So we've sort of separated out the few stitches that we want to start with, just as we did on the other eye socket, but we're doing our increases on the purl side. So just quickly want to show you that. Right, so I've got my 5 stitches separated off where I'm going to just be working that eye socket, the top of the eye socket. So purl 4, 3 and 4, and here comes the increase. So it's purl into the front and back. So I'm just going to go as if to purl in the normal way, wrap my yarn, take my needle through, but don't take it off the needles, because we need to do another part of this, and that is get my needle from the back through to the front. So what I tend to do is I'll hold the stitch with my thumb, give it a stretch, so it's creating a sort of a loop, can you see there? And then the needle comes in through the back, wrap it again, goes through, and now I can release it. So that was purl front and back. A little trickier than knit front and back, but completely achievable. That's really the only difference that you've got in the whole eye socket type situation. So if you go ahead and continue all the way through to the end of the right cheek, and we'll reconvene when it's time to start the front of the face.